Imagine waking up, stepping out of bed, and squish. Standing water. A shared drain line in your HOA community has just failed. It's a stressful, totally messy nightmare. And almost immediately, a second, arguably worse nightmare kicks in. Who is actually going to pay for this? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into a step-by-step investigation to track down the financial culprit when shared plumbing goes bad.
Because, look, it all boils down to one simple yet incredibly expensive question. Who pays for the shared drain? As a homeowner, your anxiety right now, completely justified. And your very first instinct is probably to assume, hey, it's a shared system, the HOA definitely has it covered. Well, as we're going to see, the answer is rarely that simple. Let's look at exactly how we're going to solve this expensive whodunit.
Here is our roadmap for the investigation. First, the shared drain dilemma. 2, decoding the HOA documents. 3, location and language matter. 4, maintenance versus damage. 5, the homeowner action plan. And finally, number 6, when to escalate. Don't worry, we are going to logically gather all the clues you need to resolve this dispute.
Okay, let's start with part 1, the shared drain dilemma, the core conflict.
So, diving into this core conflict. On one hand, you've got this totally logical homeowner assumption. It's a shared system, therefore the HOA pays. I mean, that makes perfect sense, right? But then, on the other hand, you hit the standard HOA argument. Well, the pipes benefit specific properties, or they're inside your property boundary, so you pay. You can see how the confusion and tension just bubble up the absolute second a drain line serving multiple lots fails. Both sides literally feel they are 100% in the right.
To break that tie, we need to move to part 2, decoding the HOA documents, the paper trail.
Because here's the thing. The truth of the matter isn't based on feelings. It is entirely document-driven. Our first major clue is figuring out if the pipe is formally considered a common area. So, what is that? A common area is shared infrastructure explicitly listed in your CC and Rs. That stands for covenants, conditions, and restrictions, by the way, or your bylaws or state statutes. If your drain line is clearly classified as common infrastructure in those docs, then maintenance responsibility typically falls straight into the HOA's lap.
But watch out, because the real curveball in these documents is the concept of a limited common element. This is infrastructure reserved for the use or benefit of a very specific group of owners. And this classification, it's a sneaky one. It can make the HOA the formal maintainer of the pipe, sure, but it still allows them to pass the repair bill directly to you and the other specific lots that benefit from it. So yeah, just because the HOA calls the plumber absolutely does not mean the HOA is footing the bill.
And that brings us to our next set of clues in part 3, location and language matter, physical clues.
Believe it or not, sometimes these documents don't even use the words drain lines at all. So the crucial point here is how the specific word serves in your contract can completely flip the financial responsibility, all depending on who benefits. If your rules state the HOA maintains utilities serving the common area, well, that's a pretty strong indicator the HOA pays. But if the language dictates that owners maintain utilities within their lot, that responsibility can rapidly shift right back to the individual homeowner, especially if that pipe only serves their specific property.
Beyond the wording, literal physical geography acts as a critical clue here. Drain lines running under shared driveways, community landscaping, or parking areas, those often fall squarely under HOA control. However, if the line lies entirely within a particular lot and functions as that owner's private system, even if it eventually connects to the broader community network downstream, the HOA is likely going to argue that the homeowner controls maintenance for the portion inside their own lot boundary.
Now let's shift our detective work over to part 4, maintenance versus damage, the root cause. So even if we know who generally maintains a pipe, the actual root cause of the damage can completely override everything we've discovered so far. It brilliantly illustrates how responsibility can just flip on a dime. If a blockage is traced to misuse, say a homeowner flushing things they definitely shouldn't be, or installing unapproved alterations, the HOA is absolutely going to seek reimbursement from that homeowner. But if the pipe simply fails due to aging infrastructure, tree root intrusion, or just general wear and tear over time, then the HOA is much more likely to have to cover that repair.
But how do you actually prove who or what caused the damage? I mean, you can't just guess, right? Finding the actual culprit requires concrete technical evidence. These disputes are usually solved by bringing in a licensed plumbing contractor or a drain specialist. They'll provide inspection reports, map the line with camera scopes, and then compare those findings against the property's original as-built drawings. This hard data definitively identifies which segment serves which property and exactly why it failed. No more guessing.
Now that we know exactly what to look for, Let's pivot to the practical solution phase in Part 5, the Homeowner Action Plan, Rules of Engagement.
Okay, before you do anything, heed this critical warning. When there is standing water or incredibly slow drainage in your house, the temptation to call a plumber immediately is extreme. I get it, but acting prematurely can literally ruin your chances of cost recovery. You absolutely must follow your HOA's specific repair notification rules first. You have to obtain approval for work affecting shared infrastructure and usually use their approved vendors. Jumping the gun on this can easily stick you with the entire bill.
So let's build a bulletproof action plan to protect your property and, of course, your wallet from unexpected costs. Start by reviewing your CC&Rs and bylaws for those definitions we talked about earlier. Next, request the association's maintenance records. Then, you want to document the issue with plenty of photos and request an official drain line inspection to confirm responsibility. And above all else, keep every single receipt and written estimate. If you stick to these rules of engagement, you're in a much better position.
But what happens if you follow all the rules and still get nowhere? That brings us to Part 6, when to escalate, resolving deadlocks. Sometimes the homeowner and the HOA board are looking at the exact same clues, but they remain completely deadlocked. When this happens, disputes are most successfully escalated when you combine that hard technical evidence with the HOA's formal internal processes. You basically have to take your undeniable evidence, exactly where the line runs and exactly what it serves, and push it through their specific channels. That means submitting a formal written request, opening an official work order, or forcing a board decision. It's all about matching cold, hard facts to their required bureaucracy.
Now, if you do all of this, and an internal resolution is just simply impossible, well, it might be time to seek legal advice tailored to your specific state and circumstances. State laws actually place very specific requirements on HOAs regarding common infrastructure maintenance and cost allocation. So a legal professional who is familiar with your jurisdiction's laws might be your only remaining path to compel the HOA to actually fulfill their obligations.
To summarize our entire investigation today, I want to highlight this quote directly from the source material. The most reliable path is to use your governing documents as a baseline. There is absolutely no one-size-fits-all answer to shared drain lines. The ultimate truth of who pays is always going to live in a combination of your specific community documents, the physical evidence in the ground, and the actual cause of the failure.
Which leaves us with this final, somewhat provocative thought. What financial secrets are hiding in your HOA's CC&Rs right now? Seriously, don't wait for a flooded driveway or a backed-up sink to find out. Pull out your governing documents today, investigate your property's definitions, and know exactly where you stand before the pipes start backing up. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and hey, happy sleuthing.